Hey guys, welcome to a new video on Scrap Mechanic. So today I'm in this new world. I'm just called this world Logic. This is just going to be where all my Logic videos and Scrap Mechanics are just going to be placed. As you can see, I've got these little pads here. This is where I'm going to do all my projects. It's got little numbers down there to show which project I'm on at the minute. So by the title you should already know what this video is about, but I'm going to be showing you some engines that I've made, some real life engines I've made in Scrap Mechanic, because usually you just have this engine and you have the electric engine here. Both have different properties. The electric engine's more powerful and stiff, and the gas engine's just for speed. But these are kind of less practical in Scrap Mechanic, but they're just like for fun, because I just made these just to show that they can be made. They're made by the pistons. Usually in real life you'd have like combustion chambers and stuff, but these pistons just run by like a button. So yeah, it's not really that realistic, but it still has the same mechanical realism in here anyway. So as you can see, I've got 3 engines here. This first one I think is kind of like the Inline 4 design, and it's also got this like train connector here for 2 wheels. I'll show that in a minute. And I've got this Inline 6, so I've got 6 pistons all in sync that are going at a different time to push this around. And then I've got this V4 engine, which has like a V shape, hence the name, and it's got 4 pistons on it. These are basically all timed, so if something goes wrong then it'll break, but that usually doesn't go wrong. You can make it so it has like sensors, so when it spins it does it, but I'm doing it so it's timed, it's more easier. I've also got this like gearbox thing that increases the speed of the gear. In Scrap Mechanic you don't really have very good gears, so you have to kind of make them out of these, which are not very reliable. Sometimes they get stuck. It's not the best thing to make out, but if I turn this on, as you can see, this top gear up here is spinning much faster than the bottom gear. If we slow this down a bit, then you can see a bit easier. As you can see, this is spinning quite slowly, this top one's spinning really fast, so I've just made these gears to speed up the process. This is kind of what you'd have in a real car, but you'd have loads of different gears that you could change for like different speeds and that. So this first engine here also has some timers running at 0.075 for 3 ticks in game, so each one of these goes at 3 ticks. 2 of these will be active at a time, because this timer down here, which is the tick pulse length, is 0.15, which is twice of one of these, so both the pistons are going at one time. This is just to make sure it actually spins, because some of the pistons might not actually make it go around the entire way it's supposed to. If you have 2 going at once, then it will just make sure that it gets round and then goes on to the next one. So if we start up here, it should start the sequence. We can do the pistons manually, as you can see. It's kind of a little glitchy, but once this goes fast, it's not glitching as much. So as you can see, it's nice and smooth. Okay, this is kind of going backwards. I didn't realise I could do that, but okay, it still works. What the hell? I don't know what that is doing. Jesus. Okay, that usually just goes across as like a straight bar, but that's like diagonally and stuff. I guess that could do that. I don't even know that could be even possible. But anyway, so yeah, we've got these going off alternately, just going down. I know in real engines they have like a specific like time at which each piston go off. I don't think they're actually going across, but this one's just like, just so I can, it's easier to see. As you can see, all of these are 90 degrees because there's 4 pistons, and to make it all the way around there's 360 degrees, so it's 90 degrees for each piston. Same with this one, and on this one, because there's 6 pistons, if there's going to be 60 degrees on each piston. As you can, from the controller, where is it? Yeah, 6 degrees on each piston, that adds up to 360. As you can see, it's a pretty small design. These ones are quite big. Well, this one was my first test, just to make sure it was working. And then I kind of went on to this one. The more pistons you add, the more power it has, and the more smooth it's going to get. I had an original design for this one, which is basically the same, but it was kind of slow. So I changed down the delay to like lower, and change like this pulse length to double the width again. And I basically overclocked it, and now it goes really fast. It's the fastest engine I've made currently. As you can see, it's faster than this one. It's faster. Wait, I haven't showed this one off yet. This one's a bit janky because you can't really make a V shape in Scrap Mechanic like naturally, so you have to like turn it 45 degrees. So it's on a bearing. So when it spins, it's kind of like jumping up and down. And plus, it's not the best engine either. I think I've got like some timing issues there, but with like some trial and error you can get that to be perfect. But as you can see, because it's on a bearing and there's loads of pistons going off, it's like bouncing up and down a bit, you can see. So it's not the most reliable design they've made. These inline ones are the most smooth. It looks really satisfying when you look at it like this. So I think this is like the fastest you can go. The more pistons you add, obviously the more powerful it's going to be, and you could connect it up to one of these gearboxes, but it's going to be really like jumpy and like glitchy like Scrap Mechanic always is, so it's probably not very practical to do it, but it's just fun to make, I guess. I'm not sure if you could change these down to like 0 delay. I'm not sure what's the fastest you can possibly go, but I'm just going to leave it as this. I don't want to test that in a minute. So how I made these was, if I turn this off, if you didn't already know, that pistons don't actually have a collision box, so things can actually go through them. That's how we made these. You can actually make it so you don't have to make it go through them, but it's easier to connect all these up. Basically, it makes it a bit smaller. And so pistons have 0 hitbox, so as they go through it, you can see that pole goes through it every time it spins around. You also realise like how these automatically extended, and they're not being powered by anything. As you can see, these things are which powering it. So basically these can actually be stretched and pushed in and whatever against their will. So if they're not been told to extend, they can still extend to a certain degree. So if we use controllers to turn these 90 degrees each way, as you can see, each one's 90 degrees by itself, they'll just stretch naturally according to which position is being stretched to. So if we run this one's obviously going backwards, so I'll get this one, but this one's actually going backwards. I don't know how this has ended up. I'm gonna hit this. See, look, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how I wanted it to be. If I do this, see, now it's nice and straight. It was just going a weird direction for some reason. Now it was going backwards. Now that's how like a kind of train works. So you have like this one engine, you have one wheel that's going, and you have like this bar that connects both of them, that makes both of them spin. So yeah, this is basically all the engines that I've made. If you want to make your own engines, I'd suggest that you use pipes instead of bricks here, because if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit a like button. I'm going to do loads more logic videos on Scrap Mechanic. This is just the start. I was just testing out if you could actually make engines in real life, or like real life engines in Scrap Mechanic. These obviously are not practical in Scrap Mechanic, obviously, because you already get engines like these ones. There's no point of actually making this in your car. What's the point of that? Yeah, you can already get loads of power from these, and these can't even produce as much speed as these engines can, because obviously these are got a specific time they can only go up to, because these can only like go as fast as the game will actually run them to go, but these engines can go as fast as you turn them up like this. Because I think this is the fastest that this will run. I'm not sure. Wait, I'm just gonna test this. It's been a bit glitchy here. Just kind of smack it into place, just make sure it's all good. Yeah, I think that is the fastest that this engine can run. So obviously this engine can actually go up all the way to the top and actually spin really fast. Obviously if you connected it up to this gearbox, you could get it to go loads faster, but it won't be as powerful either. So obviously these engines are not very useful at all, but I just made them just for fun, just to see if it was actually possible to make real life engines in Scrap Mechanic, and it's pretty cool to see how an engine actually works, like in mechanical way. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below if you want to suggest any other videos. Yeah, so bye.